Well, here it is. First video in 2 months about.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Threadbanger. It's been a couple months since we have posted a video here, and for pretty... You alright?
Oh.
And for pretty good reason.
Good reason.
I mean, it's a good reason why we haven't posted a video.
Yes, I guess it's a good excuse.
As the title kind of gives you a little bit of information, I died for just a little bit of time.
In real life.
In real life. Not in fake Threadbanger world. I suffered a massive heart attack. One that left me dead for a little bit. Until Corinne over here saved my life. Right?
Yes, I guess so, technically.
Technically, she is a first responder, and so...
we gotta back up a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
I think it was... yeah. So, you had been sick for 2 months prior to this 2 months.
Sure. Let's go back a little bit. Spring happened, and I thought that allergies had taken over, so I was like sneezing and coughing and headache and kind of everything that goes along with allergy season.
It was definitely a catalyst to the future events, though.
Sure.
So allergies, then they think it's a sinus infection, then it's possibly pneumonia. So throughout this time, you're getting prescribed all these antibiotics and...
Inhalers and...
We keep asking for a chest x-ray and blood work, and they're like, no, if it's this, we'll give you the antibiotics for that. And then finally there was a point where it was just, it's been so long, we need answers, and the doctor prescribed a pretty heavy dose of steroids, which, made him feel better. And right when the steroids ended, he started getting very sick again. So we go into the hospital, where he gets diagnosed ultimately with this autoimmune disorder called granulomatosis with polyangiitis.
What the fuck is that?
Also known as Wegener's, but they don't call it that anymore because apparently it was a Nazi doctor that discovered it, and that's his name, which...
Sure.
But anyway, we were in the hospital for about 6 days.
I don't remember any of it.
Well, now he doesn't, but Rob posted pictures to Instagram at that time, little beknownst to me, by the way, that he was in the hospital and he was feeling better and we were leaving the hospital. So 24 hours later, we get discharged, and 24 hours later,
I have a heart attack.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I had been sleeping on the couch a lot because he had been coughing so much. And he was like feeling bad about keeping me awake, so he couldn't really sleep if I slept in there. So anyway, I was sleeping on the couch a lot. And this night I decide to go into the bedroom. I almost fell asleep on the couch. I go into the bedroom, he's awake. I say, okay, good night, going to sleep, love you, good night. About a half an hour later, I wake up to Rob making these crazy noises, and he wasn't responding to his name, and then all of a sudden the noises stopped happening, and he was just there, and I'm like watching for a couple seconds, like, no, something's wrong. So I jump out of bed, I flip the lights on, and I go to his side of the bed, and I turn him over, and he's like definitely not alive, let's just say. Cool. Eyes open, grayish, like hands clammy, not breathing, no heartbeat. So I start doing a little bit of CPR. From what I remember, I was trained as a first responder like 14 years ago, and my phone's on the other side of the bed, so I run back around, grab that, call 911, put it on speakerphone, put it on the end table, and they're asking me questions like, what is it? Is it medical? Is it this? I'm like, it's medical. My husband's not responding.
They thought I was like on drugs or that I
Well, this plays in later in the story.
Oh.
So he's like, okay, ma'am, you got to get him out of the bed. And I'm like, fuck. He's 6 feet tall. I'm like, all right, well, you got to get him out of bed. So I'm like dragging him out of bed, get him to the floor, trying not to hurt your head, you know. And he's like, okay, you just have to start chest compressions. And still I was like trying to breathe in your mouth, but I'd breathe in and then like you would make this noise a couple seconds later, and it was like, oh my God, he's good, he's awake. And it was actually just the air coming back out again is the noise that was happening.
I did not see the light.
Huh.
Which would have been kind of cool if I did, and if I had like kind of passed on over to the other side and seen like an old relative or whatnot.
I'm sorry you were denied that experience.
I know.
Yeah. The 911 operator is like, okay, just find the nipple line and you're going to start compressions and just do that a bunch. Like, just start counting. So I'm like,
I'm sexy.
yeah, you're just going to do a lot of compressions. Didn't feel sexy at the time. So I'm doing the chest compressions and the guy's like, okay, ma'am, you're doing great. He's like, is your door unlocked? Because they're almost there. And I was like, holy shit. I was so relieved because at this time it's only been like 4 minutes. And
mad props to the Asheville
fire department. Yeah, West Asheville Fire Department actually.
For coming so fast and
doing
their job.
You know, it was like 12:30 in the morning. So there's not a lot of traffic, there's not a lot of things happening. Anyway, so they get there and
there's a little bit of footage from the door.
Rob went and watched the ring footage like a crazy person.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, they come in and, you know, there's a bunch of them. I would say there's like 5 people. And they go in and look at you, and then this one guy just starts like, ma'am, he's super young, like, is he on drugs? Tell me what drugs he's on. I'm like, it's not on drugs. He was just diagnosed with this very autoimmune disorder. Like, I'm trying to explain. I'm like, just help him. And yeah, they thought you were on drugs. It probably didn't help that I was wearing this like Pink Floyd t-shirt, no pants on. I have tattoos everywhere. I'm like, but my house does not look like a drug den, you know? Like, it's very clean. Oh, Lord. Anyway, so I didn't realize this at the time, but they did CPR on you for 20 minutes. And they zapped you twice, and there's a liaison that happens when you call an ambulance and it's super serious. And she goes back and forth to like talk to me and then see what's happening in the room, give me updates. She kept saying, she's like, you really need to call someone. Is there anyone you can call to be here with you?
At 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, now it's, 1 o'clock in the morning, and my phone's still on the nightstand over where they're working on you. And again, your chest hurts because they put this crazy fucking pumper thing on your chest that looks like a well digging device. It's like, I just happened to I had to walk by to get some pants on. And I saw, it was insane. So you definitely experienced some cracked ribs from that.
Yeah.
But the woman comes back with my phone and she's like, hey, I just have to tell you, it's not looking good. We can't get a pulse. He's not breathing. You need to call someone to be with you. And also, we've called the cops because the cops always come if someone fucking dies in your house.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, I don't know. It almost goes in robot mode, and I'm like calling a friend. I tried to call my brother. He was sleeping. So I call my friend and I'm like, hey, I just had to call the ambulance, and I couldn't say the words like, it's not looking good, or he's dead, or anything like that. I'm like, I'm stumbling over my words, and my friend's trying to put things together, like, what is going on? And the woman comes back out, and she's like, we got a pulse. We're taking him to the hospital.
I'm back. Back from the dead. And that is when I went into the hospital, where the ICU.
An amazing doctor, Dr. Ashley Helgenson. It was like an episode of ER. Very young, very good looking, super smart, because I realized after the fact, because we spent a month in the ICU, but they make calls when a very serious case is coming in. So it'll be like, blah, 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 cardiac, VFib, and it comes over the loudspeaker in the whole hospital. So if there's any doctors, they like rush to this location. You get wheeled in, and Dr. Ashley Helgenson comes in, and she's like, where's the young cardiac? And then she comes back out, and she's like, you know, it's very serious. So she draws this diagram. I'll never forget the diagram. And she's like drawing a very simple heart, like the ventricles. She's like, so this is what it looks like. And basically you had blood clots in most of the ventricles and arteries leading to the heart. So your heart got no blood to it, basically. And you're contending with hypoxia, I think it's called, when you stop breathing and there's no blood flow, your brain can have damage. So they had this other machine that it basically is like tubes of water that are all underneath you, and they cool you down a lot. So brain swelling could happen if you get too hot. So they keep your brain really cool, and then they slowly heat up your body again to temperature. And it was like, I want to say 20 hours.
That's crazy.
That it took to like slowly heat your body temperature up back again.
Dialysis?
Yeah, so there's a port here that happens, and you had dialysis and plasmapheresis. So they take all your blood out of your body, and they do this crazy process to eliminate the bad blood cells. And then they add plasma and they put it back into your body.
So thanks to everybody out there who's ever given blood. That shit's really important. Because that had to happen to me. So.
Yep. You also had an ulcer, so that meant you're bleeding in your stomach. You had a shit ton of IVs that all had different stuff. So then you had a feeding tube. You also had a breathing tube. So that meant that you had a ventilator, you had the Impella machine, you had the body warming machine, you had all of the crazy IVs that were going into your body. Yeah, it was definitely touch and go there for a while.
And then I don't remember anything. I don't remember the first time that we went into the hospital. I don't remember dying and doing that whole thing. And then I think it was nearly 4 weeks. I was in and out of like comas, like induced comas.
Medical induced coma. So they gave you fentanyl and this stuff called propofol, which
She's a fucking nurse now.
keeps you under. You spend a month in the ICU, and this is what happens. I learned what all the beeps meant, what all the drugs do. It's fucking crazy. You also had a seizure while you were under. So they took the breathing tube out the first time, but you still needed help breathing, and you wouldn't let the mask happen because you were living out some sort of horror movie situation in your mind. And the mask, you just would not let it. You would like thrash your head. So they had to keep putting the breathing tube back in. And that's when they decided that the trachea was going to be the best option for you.
So that's why I've got this little slash kind of scar on my neck, and why my voice sounds like absolute shit. But I sound like I could be like a really cool singer at this point, like a Tom Waits, you know? So I'm kind of excited about that.
And you did keep pulling your feeding tubes out. So you had the feeding tube is what you kept pulling out.
Out of my nose. They put feeding tubes in your nose.
One feeding tube, and it goes all the way down, and they use this crazy machine.
To feed you?
But they like to even insert the feeding tube. It's like this crazy machine. So yeah, he didn't like the feeding tube. He thought it was a conspiracy and that we were trying to keep him there, you know, like a horror movie basically, like House of a Thousand Corpses. So he kept trying to escape. He was like trying to steal nurses' badges and shit, thinking that was gonna get him out of the hospital. When in reality, you don't need a badge to get out. You need one to get in. Because at first we really didn't know if he was gonna make it. It's true.
I know. it's crazy. But we did. We're here. I'm here. And so there was a lot of support from a lot of people that came. Christine and Ben made it and flew in from Canada. Various YouTubers came. It's okay. Lots of family and lots of friends really helped and supported you, supported us.
When you're in that situation, you want someone that you know there with you, because otherwise you're just like, who the fuck is this person? Especially if you're under all these drugs and all this stuff, it just like, it really fucking sucks. So I was texting Rob, even though he was sleeping and in this medical induced coma, and I realized I hadn't talked to him in like 2 weeks, and it's like the longest we've ever gone without talking, you know? So I was texting you crazy shit at night, like, I just miss talking to you, I really just miss you. And the next day, my brother's at the hospital, he slept with you that night, and it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, and he calls me, and he's like, they took the breathing tube out, and I'm like, oh, is he talking? Because you can't talk when you have that in your throat. And he's like, yep. I'm like, what'd he say? It's like, get me the fuck out of here.
Sounds about right.
So I get dressed really quick, I rush to the hospital, and then I go in and I'm like, Rob, blah, 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 oh my God, it's so good to see it. And you're like, you recognize me, but you could tell like it was still a little fuzzy, and I just like went to the end of the bed, and you're like, Corinne? I'm like, yeah, yeah, it's me. And you kept saying like, this is fucking crazy, and I'm like, yeah, it's fucking crazy. And you're like, what, you didn't, so they always ask you the same questions when you wake up, and it's like, do you know what year it is? And you didn't know what year it is. And they're like, do you know who the president is? And you didn't know who the president was, and I'm like,
No worries.
You don't really want to know who it is anyway. It's fine. But
I tried to pick you up.
Well, I said, I'm like, oh man, I don't say, oh man, I'm like, I love you so much, and you're like, I love you so fucking much, and then every once in a while you just be like, wow, you're so beautiful, and I'm like, and then I was able to at some points talk you into having the mask on when you needed it, so I was able to like coax you into putting the mask on. And I'm like, you kind of look like Darth Vader with that mask on. I'm like, Luke, I am your father. And you're like, you're pretty cute. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're pretty cute. Do you want to start dating? And you're like, I'm like, cool, we're dating.
Sweet.
Yeah. But, you also asked me for a dinosaur to put in the backyard, so.
Well, yeah. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
After that, again, that was like 4 or 5 weeks, and then I started coming too. Mm-hmm. And that was, people were still coming. I remember, people who were there. And
you don't really remember Christine being there. It was like kind of right when you woke up, and she gets there, and it's like a really weird day. We go to visit you, and you're great. You're doing awesome. And, you could tell it took a minute to realize who they were, but she was wearing a Roots shirt, of course, and you kept looking at that, and then you, you realized who it was. Right. But me and Christine are sitting there. Ben had gone to get something, and just very slowly, you're laying in the bed, and just, very slowly, and you're making this face. And, really slowly. You flip Christine up, and it was the best thing ever. It was
he's back,
pretty crazy. You really know people.
Who your friends are, who your family,
mm-hmm.
and who's really there for you.
Who shows up. Yeah. Even after all this, surviving a heart attack, kidney failure, lungs having holes in them, dialysis, just all this stuff. A tracheotomy. He had another cardiac episode while in the hospital, and they had to come in and shock him again with the defibrillator. He was wide awake when it happened. And then they decide that they're gonna put a pacemaker / defibrillator in. So
I got a fucking robot heart going on in here that helps me live.
but the underlier of all of this is that he still has this autoimmune disorder that was possibly brought on by a crazy allergy season. And this year, allergy season in Nashville was crazy. They were calling it Paulageddon, you know? And it was covering everything. So I don't know if we're going to be able to live in Asheville for allergy season ever again.
No, we'll travel somewhere.
Yeah. Sedona, Arizona,
I don't know.
Utah.
We'll go up to Canada. We'll visit, we'll hang out with Ben and Christine.
Yeah, because they just have snow during springtime.
But I got out of the hospital mid-July and then went to a recovery center where I literally had to I lost over 30 pounds. And so I had to learn pretty much how to walk again. And all use motor skills and kind of eating and getting back on track, which was crazy. Just simple things that, you don't think that you would lose, memory loss and all sorts of stuff that they get you back on track on. So I had 2 weeks of that, and then now I've been home for a week.
And guess what he wanted to do? Work.
And so I want to make videos. We're making a video right now. But I think that's going to be a minute before we kind of get back on track, and, do some stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's next, here on the channel. You get really a weird life perspective when you, die and have a second chance at life. We've been doing this for 14 years, which is fucking crazy to admit and say. Some of you aren't even 14 years old. But we're looking at this from a whole other angle at this point in time.
I don't know. It's I don't think we'll ever be able to stop making videos because that's just something that is in both of our blood.
I think that there's definitely more passionate things that I would like to make videos about, instead of making fucking rainbow toast and stupid shit.
Wait, have you ever made rainbow toast?
I don't think so.
Rainbow toast!
Next video!
I don't know. Life is short. You realize after something like this that all those things that you want to do, you should kind of just do them and take the risk.
It's nice to save money in the bank, but it's also great to spend it, and do shit that you want to do and take vacations and do things for yourself.
100%.
Because literally, I fucking died and would have had so many dreams unfulfilled. And so many things that I would have wanted to do that I didn't do, and it's would have sucked. So buy our merch. We're throwing up some new T-shirts.
A shirt that says "I died." It's very simple. It's a little tombstone. I died on it. I mean, it's a saying. People say "I died" all the time.
Another good one is the Dead Banger shirt. Huh? Instead of the regular Threadbanger logo, this one is made of bones. God damn, that's a cool shirt. So go check out the merch store over on Teespring. We'll leave the link below.
It's a merch play.
Yeah.
Isn't it always?
The whole thing was.
Isn't it always?
Oh shit.
I'm probably gonna post a couple videos on my personal channel in the coming weeks here.
Sure. I'm posting some videos, some behind the scenes stuff. I was making death vlogs of me super sick in the hospital.
In April, late April.
That I don't even remember.
I mean, my plan when all this first started happening, I was never coming back to the house. I was selling the house.
Wow.
I was gonna live in a van down by the river and never talk to anyone again. So we've progressed a lot
no,
since then.
I'm grateful for that.
I'm grateful too. It's just he's a medical marvel. It really is amazing. Science is fucking incredible. I also urge you to take a CPR class. I took mine again 16 years ago, and it literally
Saved my life.
saved his life. To know what to do in those very early on seconds is super important. So take a CPR course.
I'm sure there's a website that we'll leave
Yeah.
down here below. American Red Cross Association of
I'm sure.
Breathing and
Breathing.
I don't know.
Yeah, and heart beating.
First Responders USA.
That's a really long URL.
I don't know what it is.
I feel like we'll have to put the bit.ly up.
Yeah, sure.
This is it.
Yeah, so that's the story. Hopefully I get my voice and my strength back, and we get Threadbanger back on track.
But you know, some people out there might be missing us a little bit, want
Sure.
to see some more content. So if that's the case,
We actually made some videos prior to all of this for the Travel Channel, a show called Park It, where we go around to 6 different national parks and explore everything you could do in one day, which was pretty awesome. That actually comes out pretty soon, in a few weeks, so be sure you check out travelchannel.com for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with us through all of the madness.
and for all of your amazing comments and
Support.
sincere, just concern and love. It was really great to read a lot of your comments. And again, I feel really bad for not really updating people with a lot of information, but it was hard for a long time. And we're all lucky, and I don't know, I'm just so happy that you're home and
Me too.
you're doing better.
That's it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a hard video to make.
Yep, it was.
Oh, I love you so much.
I love you too. We did it. I'm alive. Don't squeeze me too hard.
Jesus.
Well, we will see you next time. Hopefully I won't sound like an adolescent teenager. And I'll get my voice back and get this show back on the road. Until then.
Bye-bye.